The following program is an original production of WICC PBS Chicago.
Rahm Emanuel gets a second chance in Chicago's first ever runoff election. The mayor scored a decisive win over challenger Chuy Garcia with nearly 55% of the votes.
But now comes the hard part: how to fill a giant hole in the city's budget and pay for workers' pensions, not to mention tackling crime and improving public schools.
Plus, some raw and unfiltered moments from inside the mayoral race. Meet a journalist who has spent the last year documenting the candidate's every move. We'll find out about this and much more tonight on In the Loop. Good evening, I'm Barbara Pinto.
And I'm Chris Bury. Now that the campaigning and the celebrating are over, it's back to work for the newly re-elected Mayor Emanuel.
And there is a lot of work to do. Many of the mayor's challenges are difficult and urgent.
At the very top of that list are the three most complicated problems: money, schools, and crime.
Thank you, Chicago!
Mayor Emanuel had a lot to be thankful for. He won decisively against challenger Jesus Chuy Garcia, who conceded early Tuesday night when it became obvious he was not going to win.
This was a hard-fought race, but it's over now.
Garcia waged a 6-week battle against Emanuel in Chicago's first runoff election for mayor. After declaring victory, Emanuel acknowledged that voters had put him through his paces. He promised he would be a better mayor because of it.
I will carry your voices, your concerns into the office of the mayor's office.
In his second term, the mayor will be dealing with a list of problems that would give anyone a headache. The biggest one, by far, is the city's beleaguered budget.
I think the technical fiscal term is a hot mess.
Ralph Martiri, executive director of the Bipartisan Center for Tax and Budget Accountability, says the city is operating with a deficit of $300 million. But that's only the beginning. The picture really gets hot and messy come January 1st.
An additional pension contribution is due of some $550 million more than what they're currently putting in. And that's not the end of the story.
That figure is expected to grow over the next 3 years, increasing the total annual pension obligations to more than $800 million. The city is in such sorry shape, Martiri says, because for years political leaders kicked the can down the road. They intentionally took money that was supposed to fund public pensions, and then they spent it on day-to-day services.
We've never, as taxpayers, have had to actually pay the cost of the services we're consuming. The pensions have subsidized that service delivery cost.
The mayor's appointed school board faces another hot mess, a budget deficit of more than $1 billion. Add to that the pension crisis at the Chicago public schools. The city needs to come up with another $150 million for that. Lorraine Forte is editor-in-chief at Catalyst Chicago, an independent news service focusing on public education.
Somehow, the mayor's got to deal with the district's financial problems. And the mayor also has to somehow instill confidence in the public that the schools are getting better, and here's how.
The mayor could be facing another showdown with Teachers Union President Karen Lewis, who supported Garcia for mayor. The teacher's contract expires in June. Emanuel is also under pressure to improve economically depressed neighborhoods where he closed 50 schools.
Communities need to have businesses, people need to have jobs, and that, helps the community to improve and will help schools to get better.
The other big item on the mayor's to-do list is crime. All crimes are down 5% from last year in Chicago, but in January, murders were up sharply.
Violence has a huge impact.
Diane Ladaker should know. She's built a memorial in the Roseland neighborhood to honor all the young people who've died as a result of violence in recent years.
We've had 374 stones in here since the end of 2011.
Latiker founded Kids Off the Block in an effort to steer children away from gangs and guns. She says violence and economic despair go hand in hand.
If a community is thriving, and I mean thriving, like I've seen communities and other communities thriving, there's less crime. So why not address what's actually causing the crime instead of trying to control the crime?
So poor, crime-ridden communities need capital investment. The schools need more money. And the city is so broke, so deep in the hole, that Martiri says budget cuts alone will not solve the problem. So what is the answer? Building a casino is one solution the mayor has proposed, but Martiri says it's not a reliable economic engine since mainly low and middle income families frequent casinos.
They generally take their paycheck and they spend it. But now, instead of spending it at the local grocer or the dry cleaner or the car repair shop, they're wagering it and losing a significant portion.
Emmanuel will also be looking to expand the tax base by taxing services such as haircuts, lawn care, and auto repairs. Then there's the unpopular option both candidates avoided during the campaign, raising property taxes.
We've been kidding ourselves for decades by funding services without having the revenue to pay for them.
In a news conference after the election, Mayor Emmanuel acknowledged that he has his work cut out for him. He'll also face a more independent city council after several of his allies lost runoff elections. Mayor Emmanuel will be sworn in for his second term on May 18th. Now here's Barbara and our panelists with a look ahead.